Few armored vehicles in the history of war have sparked as much fascination as the King Tiger, also known as the Tiger II. Giant, powerful, feared, but at the same time marked by technical problems and logistical limitations, the King Tiger became an absolute icon of World War II. Today, almost 80 years after the end of the conflict, this steel colossus still inspires passion and fuels ambitious projects. In the coming years, we'll witness an unprecedented historic moment. We may be able to see up to 5 different examples of this legendary tank moving again, restored and put into operation in museums and collections around Europe. It's about this return that we're going to talk now, exploring what made the King Tiger such a unique vehicle. Before we start, I want to invite you to become our student at the Sala de Guerra Academy in the new course Strategy and Tactics on the map. Think like the generals of World War II. There, it's an environment where we can learn in a linear way about all the battles, all the campaigns of World War II, and understand the thinking of the great leaders who played a major role in it. And all of that comes with a certificate at the end, okay? So to learn more, just click the link in the description or scan the QR code that's on the screen. I'll wait for you in the classroom so we can study. Let's start our history. Before we get into the specific stories, it's important to remember what the King Tiger was. Officially designated as Panzerkampfwagen 6 AUSF B and nicknamed King Tiger by the Allies, this tank was the successor to the already feared Tiger E. It began production in 1944 and incorporated lessons learned by the Germans on the battlefields since the invasion of the Soviet Union in 1941. The Tiger I had already proven to be a heavily armored tank with a powerful cannon, capable of dominating battles, but it had also made it clear that weight, cost, and logistics could be serious problems for this type of vehicle. The King Tiger took this logic to a new level. It weighed about 69 tons, had sloped frontal armor up to 180 millimeters thick, and was armed with an 88 millimeter KWK 43 L71 gun, capable of destroying practically any enemy armored vehicle at distances greater than 2,000 meters. In theory, it was unbeatable, but in practice, its excessive weight made it slow and vulnerable, and its mechanical failures made it almost impossible to transport or recover if it was damaged. Even so, it represented the pinnacle of German armored engineering and became a symbol of the Third Reich's desperate struggle in its final months of war. Just under 500 units of the model were produced, and many ended up destroyed, abandoned, or even captured by the Allies. Today, surviving examples are extremely rare. Most of them are in museums standing in static conditions. But surprisingly, some restoration projects have been making strong progress. And in the coming years, we may see no less than 5 King Tigers running again. They are the example from the Saumur Museum in France, which the War Room team, by the way, visited last year. The King Tiger, kept at Switzerland's Full Military Museum, 2 examples being restored by the Wheatcroft collection in the United Kingdom, and the V2 prototype from the Bovington Museum, also in the United Kingdom, which is at the center of a major fundraising campaign to bring it back to life within 4 years. Let's get to know each of them in detail now. The King Tiger is one of my favorite tanks, and today I'm going to tell you how you can actually take a ride in a real King Tiger, okay? Wait until the end of the video to find out, starting with France, where the example at the Saumur Museum, or Musée de Blindés, is probably the most famous King Tiger and the only one in the world currently in working condition. Its history is complex and intriguing. For many years, there was confusion about its identity. It was believed to be the tank with the number 300 on the turret, commanded by Halfman, or Captain Walter Scherf, from the Heavy Panzer Battalion 503, or the tank number 123, of SS Hafscharführer Fritz Riebeler from the Heavy Panzer Battalion SS 101. More recent research, however, has shown that in fact it is a fusion of the two vehicles. The hull is from 123 and the turret from 300. After the war, the tank was captured and started to be used by the French army, something actually relatively common, since in France many German armored vehicles were used as part of their armed forces in the immediate post-war period. And you can check out this story in our video right here. The vehicle was stored in a factory near Paris until 1975, when it was donated to the Saumur Museum. In 1991, this King Tiger, already operational, was even used in the filming of the movie La Neige et le Feu, and its movement caused damage to its transmission, which required several subsequent restorations. In 2024, it received a historically researched repaint, once again adopting the number 301, and a realistic camouflage, recreating the combat appearance of Unit 503. Today, it is considered the only King Tiger in operation with its original engine, capable of moving under its own power, something extremely rare and impressive. Seeing this steel colossus moving through the museum courtyard is a unique experience that connects past and present in a tangible way. Moving on to Switzerland, we find another specimen of great importance, the King Tiger, preserved at the Full Military Museum, officially the Schweizerisches Militärmuseum, Full Royenthal. This is the tank with chassis number 28215, originally assigned to the Heavy Panzer Battalion 506. Just like other armored vehicles captured after 1945, this vehicle ended up in France and was later given to Switzerland. For many years, it was stored until it was sent to the Full Museum. The tank had several peculiarities. Its cannon had a destroyed muzzle, possibly due to combat damage or an intentional explosion to prevent it from being captured in good operational condition. Several remnants of Zimmerit, that anti-magnetic coating used by the Germans to prevent magnetic mines from sticking, were still visible on some parts of the rear of the turret. So, since 2007, the museum started a restoration project with the goal of restoring mobility to this vehicle. It's a very slow, expensive, and demanding process, but it has already produced significant progress. The goal is clear: to get the Swiss King Tiger moving, making it one of the stars of their collection. For a country with no direct connection to German production, but a neighbor to the great battles of World War II, owning and preserving this colossus is a remarkable achievement. In the United Kingdom, one of the world's largest private collectors of military vehicles, Kevin Wheatcroft, has been leading ambitious projects that include not only German tanks but also various Allied armored vehicles. His collection, known as the Wheatcroft Collection, includes no less than 2 King Tigers at different stages of restoration in some mysterious workshop in Germany. When I say mysterious, you can believe it. The workshop itself prohibits any photos from being taken inside, and the photos we have of the pieces were only taken because they left the workshop to undergo some outsourced service. Over the years, the collection has acquired several hulls, turrets, and parts scattered across the entire continent, often recovered from scrap battlefields or even smaller collections. The stated goal is to rebuild and restore both specimens, bringing them back as close as possible to their original working condition. The team involved claims to already have between 70 to 80% of the necessary parts, with replacements and custom-made components being manufactured for what is missing. It's a monumental task that involves engineers, restorers, historians, and specialized technicians, as well as many volunteers. Recently published images show the turrets being worked on and painted with primer, the hulls being reinforced, and details like the side supports for the tracks being rebuilt. If they manage to complete both projects, we'll have 2 more King Tigers running on the planet, something that seemed unimaginable just a few years ago. The Wheatcroft collection doesn't usually announce fixed deadlines, but their progress is visible and the enthusiast community follows every step with great anticipation. Finally, we come to the most iconic and exciting case of all, the King Tiger 5.2, preserved at the Tank Museum in Bovington, also in the United Kingdom. This is an absolutely unique specimen, as it is the second test chassis built by Henschel in 1943, even before mass production. Known as Versuchsfahrgestell V2, literally test vehicle number 2, this prototype served as a testing platform for various systems, including the air filters, the gun travel locks, and also the escape hatches in the floor of the vehicle. It never saw combat, but it was essential for the development of the final model. It was captured by the British after the war, taken to England, tested, and finally sent to Bovington in 1952, where it remains to this day. Over the decades, it lost several parts: the transmission, the commander's cupola, some hatches, and internal components. At one point, the cannon was put back in place, but with improvised wooden supports, showing how this historic vehicle was being treated more as a display object than as a restaurable piece. All of that is changing now. The Tank Museum has launched a crowdfunding campaign with the goal of raising £1 million to restore the V2 in 4 years, getting it back into running condition. The campaign includes not only the technical reconstruction, but also a series of rewards for donors, including exclusive events, live broadcasts of the progress, and the chance to be part of this historic project. Anyone can contribute, whether with small donations or larger amounts, which guarantee special and very attractive rewards. The project, besides restoring a unique tank, also has an educational purpose. It involves engineers, apprentices, and students in welding, machining, and precision engineering processes, transferring knowledge to new generations. If you're interested in collaborating, the link is right here in the description. So we have an impressive overview, don't we? In just a few years, the world could see no less than 5 King Tigers in operation. The one from Saumur, which is already operational and displayed in demonstrations, the one from Full, reaching its complete restoration, 2 from the Wheatcroft collection, which promise spectacular results, and the prototype of the V2 from Bovington, which brings together a very peculiar history and innovation in a project open to the public. It's curious to think that during the war, so many King Tigers rarely operated together in the same space. They were distributed in heavy battalions, in very limited numbers, and suffered so much with mechanical issues that they were hardly ever all available at the same time. Now, more than 8 decades later, the irony of history is that we might see more King Tigers gathered and running than many Allied soldiers witnessed between 1944 and 1945. More than just restoring these machines, these projects represent an effort to keep the memory alive. The roar of a Maybach HL230 engine running, the creaking of nearly 70-ton tracks in motion, and the visual impact of a gigantic turret turning in front of the spectators. All of this has an educational and emotional power that no model or video can reproduce. Even so, there is a critical and reflective component. Remember that these machines were created for mass destruction, but today they serve as tools for learning, preservation, and respect for history. Museums and collectors carry the responsibility of balancing technical fascination with the memory of the victims and the consequences of war. Each restored tank is, therefore, an invitation to reflection and not to blind glorification. For us military history enthusiasts, following this process is a privilege and also an opportunity to support concrete initiatives. Campaigns like the Tank Museums for the King Tiger V2 allow anyone to become part of this journey, whether through a symbolic donation or more substantial financial support. Every contribution helps transform a rusty hull into a living giant once again. And that makes all the difference, because in the coming years, the roar of the King Tiger's engines will echo once again. And when that happens, it won't just be to fight battles, but to tell stories. Stories of technology, war, human failure, and perseverance. Stories of how the past can be preserved in the present, and stories of how even steel giants can be reborn, not as instruments of destruction, but as witnesses to what humanity was once capable of and what should never be repeated again. But as I promised you, if it's your dream to take a real ride in a giant like the King Tiger, you'll have that opportunity next year. In 2026, together with the War Room Expeditions, because the list of intentions is already open for our Market Garden and Ardennes expedition, with the bonus of Militrax in the Netherlands, the largest German World War II military vehicle event in the world. And there at Militrax, you'll be able to take rides in Kubelwagens, Kettenkrads, half-tracks, and even in German Panzers still running 80 years after the end of the conflict. If you're interested, just click the link in the description and fill in your information. Our agents will get in touch with you and help make this dream come true. Okay? Have you ever thought about us being at Militrax next year? So hurry up, put your name down, and I'll see you there. If you like this video, share it with your friends and give us a thumbs up too. Don't forget that my book, The Atom as a Weapon, is on sale right here, and with it, you'll be able to understand everything about the process of building atomic bombs. I'll stop here. Thanks again for watching, and here's a big hug from the War Room.